One of the biggest catastrophes we have in real estate is when it gets flooded. With Utah's basements and hard freezing, this is a pretty common occurrence. And if it's not taken care of correctly, it can cause mold issues, and those can be absolutely devastating to a property. And so this week we're looking at the Eliassons and the flood that they just recently had.
We had 4 grandkids here. We were tending at our home because their mother had had kind of serious surgery, so we were tending them during her recovery. The oldest brother of the family we were tending here went on the four-wheeler, and he had an accident and had to go to the hospital. So there we were down in Mount Pleasant, and Dean went with him to the hospital, and then he'd stay down in the hospital with this grandson that got injured. So I got the kids in the car and I came home, 3 of them. We had a little snack here and went to bed. The kids like to sleep on the couches in our new room in here, and I was in my bedroom at the far corner of the house, and so we all went to sleep. And in the morning I hear, "Grandma, there's a flood downstairs." I thought, what on the earth? So I jumped out of bed and stood here at the top of the stairs, and yes, there was a flood, at least a foot of water just down at the bottom of the stairs. And I thought, oh my goodness, the whole place is going to be covered. And I thought Dean wasn't here because he was still down in the hospital with our other grandson, and granddaughter that's 12 that was here said, "Grandma, why don't you call 911? Very, very soon, the I believe it was the fire chief showed up with the crew, and boy, they just knew just what to do. They got if you can imagine, all this water, we thought, how will they ever get it out of there? Well, they simply took the toilet off, and the water drained down for almost the most part of it. And then just right after that, it was wonderful because we called Fix. Got going so fast. These people knew just exactly what to do, and got heaters down there to dry the place up, and it was just amazing how they knew just what to do. It would have taken us years, I'm sure, to ever do this by ourselves, and we were just so glad to have people that were professional on the job and knew just what to do.
One of the things we specialize here at Fix of Utah is disaster cleanup and restoration. A lot of times when homeowners end up having a situation, it can deal with water, sometimes sewer, fire, and different situations that can cause a disaster in their home. We showed up here in Alpine to the Eliassons home. They called us and said that they had a water main break, and they had over a foot of water in their basement itself. And so we came and extracted the water and got them started on the whole dry out process. And we'll take you through and show you what we did to help them restore their home back to what it was originally. One of my favorite instruments to use that doesn't even cause damage in the holes or in the walls is a thermal imaging camera. And what it does is it'll actually look into the wall, and you can see with the thermal camera where the water is actually wicked up into the wall without even having to cut into the wall to find out where the water is. And it's a nice way to evaluate what we have to do when we have to remove walls, and if there's insulation behind it, because insulation can be more or less like a sponge. And then of course we can see the extent of how So it's been a few weeks since we started the restoration process, and we ran into a few little hiccups here and there with the restoration work with the doors. They ended up swelling up from the water, so we ended up just having to replace the door panels, and everything else is looking really good, and I think the Elisons are really happy with everything.
They need just do. It would have taken us years, I'm sure, to ever do this by ourselves, and we were just so glad to have people that were professional on the job and knew just what to do.
It was amazing how fast they worked. They took the drywall off the base,
About 18 inches.
18 inches, I think, all the way around the house. And it was mostly done by the time I got home. I was impressed.
And thinking back, too, over the time it took to fix it, we were just so thankful to the Fix company, restoration company, that knew how to do all this and so efficiently, and got the furniture out, the water, the sheetrock. Just couldn't believe it. They were just right down the line on what needed to be done. We just stood and marveled mostly. So thanks to the Fix company.
So we'll just go through a walkthrough real quick with you guys and make sure everything turned out nice. And if there's anything that we can kind of show from where the previous damage, when we were here earlier a few weeks ago, when all the devastation and the water damages happened, let's kind of see how everything turned out. It does look like all brand new home, doesn't it? It's pretty neat. Oh, and then you turned the storage room into a bedroom. That looks really nice. Because wasn't this like a storage?
This was a storage room. And over in the corner, we had a sump. We did have a flood from the outside, a small flood. And so we put a sump pump in, and we didn't know what to do with that. And Aaron suggested that we put a cover over it and make some storage containers, which they did.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember this was just like all concrete and shelving and stuff, and now it's a nice new bedroom. It's kind of turned out really nice. So originally what happened when we came to the home, as you can see, here's where the main line comes into the house, and it actually broke off here at this joint, and it was just more or less flooding the whole entire place. When the fire department came and they turned off the water for her because she didn't know who to call or whatnot, they got it all shut off, and then we had our plumbers come in and get the repair done. So it did cause a lot of damage, but as you can see, everything is looking really nice, and it's almost like a whole brand new home down here in the basement, and it turned out really nice. So let's go take a look at the bathroom that we got finished up, because I remember it was pretty well tore up pretty badly with all the water damage, and it turned out really nice. They'll have a new vanity in here, and the walls really turned out really nice, and there wasn't any areas that were showed that even looked like a repair. So we actually had a chance to even add a little bit more tile to the walls around the bathtub here, and it turned out really nice. So I remember this was where the end of where the water actually stopped into this whole room. This is where the office was, and had quite a bit of built-in office furniture, but we're able to utilize a little bit more of the space, and it's a lot more open, and obviously everything's new, of course, with all the water damage, and I think it turned out really nice.
3, 2, 1.
I know personally that's one of my great fears as I go down to my basement. It's been flooded out, but it's a great thing to know that there are people out there that specialize in fixing these type of things and getting them taken care of.